I don't want to pray for this anymore.
But what if I am big enough to bring you through in a way that you never saw possible?
I need to hear that.
Like, I didn't know the outcome, but I still needed to decide, is this something that am I in or not? Like, do I really believe this?
For the battle is not yours, but it's God's. If you clicked on this video, it's possible that you're going through some hard stuff. And if that's you, I just want to say it doesn't matter what you're going through. It could be you're seeing your marriage fall apart, or a job loss, or you're seeing your kids walk away from their faith. Whatever it is, can we just assure you that you are not alone and that there is a God who sees you?
And when you're going through those seemingly impossible situations, it's really easy to feel discouraged and to wonder, where's God in all of this? Which is why today Sam and I are talking about 3 things to help you trust God in seemingly impossible seasons, and remember that He's never going to leave your side.
Yeah, one of the things that has been ringing in my ear recently, just because of the situation my wife and I are in right now, we're in this season of much more anxiety than we had in the past, and we've been praying for this thing over and over and over. And I know everybody's situation is different, but you may relate to this feeling of like, I don't want to pray for this anymore. Like, I'm tired. God's not showing up in the way that at least I feel like He should.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know if embarrassing is the right word, but there's almost like this feeling of like, I don't know, like, am I screaming into the void? Maybe it is embarrassing. Like, God, you've heard. Like, I don't know how else to say what we're praying for. You've heard it all, and you almost don't want to pray about it anymore. And there's 2 words that just keep ringing in my ear, is pray anyway. And I don't like it.
I'm 51 and I've never been married, and I just think, like, God, are you even like hearing my prayers about this? Because it is something I desire, but to me, it's not like I feel like I'm screaming at with the void. I just feel like, what's the point? I've been doing this for so many years. Why am I still praying about this if it still hasn't happened?
Yeah.
And I remember actually on my 36th birthday, while I was getting ready for work, God, however He whispers to our hearts, He just did that so faithfully, like so kindly to me. And He said, Kim, I'm never late. Like, you're always a little bit late, but I'm not. I don't know how to be late.
Yeah.
And then it was like, will you trust me? And I don't know what will you trust me means. I don't know that means necessarily that He'll bring me a spouse,
right.
But do I trust that His plan is the best for me? And that I say yes to.
Yeah.
Even if it's not what I want, I still say yes.
It actually reminds me, in doing a little digging for this video, I came across the story of Jehoshaphat. And if you don't know, I'll give you like the Cliff Notes version of the story. He was a godly man who really wanted to point the kingdom of Judah to the Lord. But he was in a situation where these other armies were about to start attacking him, and he was not prepared. He did not have the resources, the army, the know-how to take on what I think was like 3 different armies.
Wow.
So he just turned to God and said, like, hey, I'm in this impossible situation. I don't know what to do, for we have no power to face this vast army that is attacking us. We do not know what to do, which I love how simple that is.
Yes.
We do not know what to do, but our eyes are upon you. And let's just make a long story real short. There was a prophet that came to Jehoshaphat and said, do not be afraid or discouraged because of this vast army, for the battle is not yours, but it's God's.
Wow.
How does that verse hit you before I keep going?
I mean, it's easy to want to be like, oh no, this is my battle. Even if it's like, I got myself into this, I need to get myself out of it.
Yeah.
But God is saying, actually, this is mine. I have this. I have gone before you, and I'm in battle with you and for you.
What did you just say? Something just stuck out to me. I feel like the battle's mine.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe
even if I got
my,
myself
yes,
into it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the situation my wife and I are in. Like the anxiety, the season we're in was kind of our fault.
Yeah, like, well, it's my fault, so I got to dig my way out of this.
And I have definitely felt those moments of like, this is on my shoulders.
But what if God is saying, okay, it is what it is, how you got there. But what if I am big enough to bring you through in a way that you never saw possible? What if I am faithful and I understand your heart and you made a mistake? What if?
You're not going to make me start crying on camera. No, but for real though, like, I need to hear that, especially because so let's come back to this. I know where this story goes because I just read it. And to bring you up to speed, if you don't know, so the prophet came to Jehoshaphat and told him, like, the battle's God's, not yours. So at that point, Jehoshaphat, he bowed down in reverence to God, just saying, Lord, this is yours. Mm-hmm. And what ended up happening was he didn't even have to fight the battle. Like, so much so, the battle's not yours. He didn't even have to pull the sword out. The 3 armies that were about to come bum rush them. Yeah. Can I say that?
Yeah, I
don't know.
So.
I don't know if that's bad. The 3 armies that were about to attack them, they ended up destroying themselves. So God did tell them to show up.
Yeah.
Like, he did tell Jehoshaphat
be present.
And the small army that he had that they had to show up to the battlefield, and they did. Mm-hmm. So they were faithful in what God called them to do. They didn't get to just sit back and relax and be like, oh, I got the news that everyone destroyed themselves. They had to show up, but they didn't have to actually fight the battle. The battle was already won for them.
That reminds me of that verse in Exodus. It's in the Old Testament where it says, it's like, I think Exodus 14:14. It says, the Lord will fight for you. You just need to be still. And sometimes that means like actual physical stillness, but sometimes I think that's in your spirit too. Like, I'm in this. Like, I think that's just constant reminders that you're not alone in this. Yeah. Like, I'm in this battle, and he's before, he's in, and he's after. Yeah. And I think we just constantly need those reminders.
Yeah. Have you ever been in the situation where you needed that reminder that God is fighting for you? That you need that reminder that you're not alone because it feels like you're taking on the entire weight of the situation that you're in. Can we just treat the like button on this video like the you're not alone button? Because I feel like it's so easy to isolate and feel like the situation you're going through is just you, and this is a you problem. And it's good to know that we're not alone.
Right.
So if you have experienced that at all, if you need that reminder, can you go ahead and click that like button so we at least know that we're doing this thing together?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, praying anyway, I love that, and it's great, but you have to understand this about who you are praying to. Who are those prayers even going to? And it all really comes down to this question: is God actually good?
This is a question that has been ringing through my head for a long time. 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with a super rare cancer in my foot. And I never heard of that. I didn't know you could get cancer in your foot. And it was a really hard process. It was surgery. It was radiation. It was every day was about, like, I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to use my hand again because that was part of the surgery process. There was all kinds of crazy things. And the question that I kept getting asked in my heart over and over is, Kim, if I don't give you what you want, if I don't heal you from this, am I still good? Am I still enough? Do you think I'm still faithful? And that was a question I feel like I had to answer every single day. Like, when you're laying in bed the night before a scan and you're wondering, is there reoccurrence? Is this back? Am I healing okay? All of the things that go through your mind. And I literally would say, Kim, you have to take every thought captive. Like, I would say it out loud while I was laying in my bed and answer, God is still good no matter the outcome, because it's who he is. It is his character. It is his nature. He doesn't know how to be anything else.
Why do you feel like you were so confidently saying that in that season?
Well, I think because I've seen it so many times. We all go through hard things in life, whether it's loss or, job change or relationship, falling apart. You can still see the good in it. You can still see that God is working. And I think it's just out of my own personal experience. Yeah. I've been through enough hard in my life to know that God is not just on the other side of it. He's walked with me through it.
Yeah. Well, and I also feel like we are forgetful creatures. So
Oh,
like,
yes.
I totally agree. Like there's this record of all the times God has been faithful, but sometimes I have to be intentional about like when he shows up, write it down
Yes.
because I'm going to forget. So when I do end up back in these impossible situations, I
Yeah.
need that reminder of like, oh yeah, he did like show up for all these different ways, and I don't know how he's going to this time.
Yeah.
But he has before.
Well, and that's why I think I love that story in the Old Testament when he asks his people to create those stones of remembrance. He's like, remember, remember, remember. Like, I need you to remember because you will forget.
Yeah.
Because we are forgetful creatures. But God is faithful. He is good. And that doesn't change. You can look out throughout all of Scripture and your own life, too. All of your own life. Even in the hard situations, you can still see the goodness of God in it.
Yeah. I love that he doesn't shy away. And even Jesus says, in this world you will have trouble. Like, there's an acknowledgement of there's going to be hard things, but he does promise that he's not going to leave us, which actually it reminds me, if you don't know, we are just like a part of this bigger story here. Like, so this is More Joy, but there is Joy FM, which is a radio station that you are highly encouraged to listen to if you want more joy in your life. But on that channel, there's this interview with Toby Mac, big Christian artist, if you haven't heard of him. But he recently, well, at this point, maybe 5 years, went through the loss of his son. And that was a excruciating season for him, and he got vulnerable and opened up about that journey. And I was behind the scenes for this shoot, and this is one of the lines that stuck out to me. Let's watch this.
But just make sure you grab onto something God really promised us, because when we're in the darkest valley, we might grab onto something that God never promised us at all. He said, make sure, God, you might grab onto something like, I shouldn't be facing loss, or God's good and this shouldn't happen to me on earth. But he said that's not promises of God. God didn't promise us we wouldn't face loss. He goes, God promised us that he would never leave us or forsake us. That's what he promised us. So God doesn't always take away the cold. He promises that he'll be right there in it with us.
I know how that hit me when I was in the room.
Yeah.
How's that hit you?
Oh, I mean, I'm trying not to cry sitting here because I also think about, my father who became a believer literally a few hours before he died, and God did not leave him. This was a man who struggled with alcoholism and violence and all kinds of things throughout most of his life. And yet in the end, God said, but I won't leave you. I'm here. I'm going to take you with me. And so that's what I thought of my own father hours before he passed on, was the Lord saying, Ed, I've got you. I am not going to leave you.
Wow. That's powerful. I never heard that story. I think it's tricky though, because even if we believe that God is good, that he is working out things for our good, that he is in control, we still, as human nature, I think, just tend to want to know the full story, like know where this is going. Yeah. Like, I'm sure you would have loved to know way earlier that your father was going to come to faith.
I prayed for decades for my dad.
Like, why is it that we didn't know the story? I'm sure there's many reasons we'll never understand why you didn't know up until that day, but like trusting in him and relying on him every single day. I think about my story before actually coming here. I had a pretty good job at a well-known place, and I felt like God was calling me to leave. That's a story for another day. So I did, and what that turned out to be was being jobless for an entire year. And that was a really hard year of questioning, God's goodness, questioning if those prayers were going to anybody, thinking like, you supposedly called me to this, I thought, and now I'm not even able to provide for my family.
Wow.
Now, I wish I would have known in that season what he was doing. Yeah. Like, now I've been here 5 years and I love every aspect of it. But I did not see that in that year. And we so badly want to see where this is going.
Absolutely.
But God, he wants our dependence on him every single day. And if we knew what he was doing, if we knew like the good that he was about to perform out of this messiness, then we wouldn't really need him, right?
Right, absolutely. I think about my buddy Jack. He's like one of my favorite kids on the planet. And when I was diagnosed, I'd had surgery on my foot. I remember him looking at my foot going, "Kim, is God going to heal you?" And I thought, "Oh man, this kid really wants to know, is God going to heal me?" And
That's like putting your faith to the test.
it was,
in real
and
time.
that's to your point. Like, I didn't know the outcome, but I still needed to decide: is this something that am I in or not? Like, do I really believe this? And I remember looking at him. We were at a picnic outside, and I said, "You know what, Jack? I know that God can heal me. I don't know if he will, but I'm going to pray and I'm going to ask him to, but I know that he can." And just allowing myself to say that out loud was like one more step moving towards, even if I don't know the outcome, God is still good.
Yeah. Which I'm sure, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, I'm just imagining like you're kind of, even before Jack asked that, wrestling with that yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Like, is this the end for me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I knew where I was going. I wasn't concerned about that, but you already start to kind of pre-grieve the loss of what you won't experience in life.
Yeah.
And even in that, God was saying, but I still am in control. Like, you might feel chaotic and you might feel like things are out of control, but it's not. I have all your little organized chaos, you know?
I hope this has been encouraging to you, but in case you didn't know, this is just one of 3 videos as a part of this channel launch today. So as we launch this channel, there's just a couple simple things you could do if you want to show support and show that you want us to keep making videos like this. First, just hit subscribe. It doesn't take anything, just takes like a little second like that, if this is valuable to you. But the second best thing you can do is just watch another video. So feel free to click one of those videos on the other side of Kim. I highly recommend checking out that one on top that talks about worrying and anxiety about the future. If you enjoyed this video, that one's going to be valuable for you as well. We'll see you over there.